Welcome back to The Edge. Time now for our Game Time Report. I'm joined, as always, by prep expert Doug Ritchie. Hey, Doug.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Conference races really starting to heat up now as we get into the middle of January.
They're getting a real toasty. We saw them toasting at Schwabena last week, at Schwabena and De Pere. This coming week, we got West De Pere Seymour in the Bay Conference. FRCC's looking good. Bay's looking good. We got other ones going on. So yeah, we're getting into the meat now, and it's looking real fun.
We like to see when these teams start playing each other, when the teams, the two conference foes, the ones you know are going to be near the top, when it comes down to it, start getting after it. And we start this week with the boys. Now, there was a great game, as you mentioned, the FRCC with the boys. De Pere Schwabena untangled. Redbirds got the best of the Jaguars, kind of giving them a foot up in the conference.
Yep, they got the one-game lead now with a 60-59 win, but this game was as good as we hoped it would be. I was at this thing, and just a good performance on both sides. And these teams, I think, showed why they are probably the two best in the league.
Well, we love to see these two teams tangle, and you love it when it actually lives up to its billing, like you said. And De Pere's head coach said afterwards that the win shows they've been able to learn from some mistakes early in the year.
We played a little bit inconsistent in those games over Christmas when we were down at Concordia, but I think we learned some lessons from those things, and it showed up tonight. I thought we kept our poise really well. I thought the kids just kept making plays and got on to the next play when they needed to.
Let's take a look at the FRCC boys. As you can see, De Pere now 6-0 in conference. But look at this logjam up there, Doug. Schwabena, Preble, Bayport, all there with 5 wins. And, you know, Sheboygan, South Pulaski knows how to win, so he's got a lot of guys.
It's a good league, and Preble goes to Schwabena this week.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not a walk through the back end of this conference either for a lot of
Notre Dame's played pretty well this year. Sheboygan North with Tom Desautels, you got to worry about them. Not too many cupcakes here.
No, it should be a fun finish to the season for the FRCC. Can't wait for that. Now, despite that loss, Schwabena still finds itself in a great position this season because of its new coach, John Myron, who has experienced a lot of success in previous stops.
Yep, Myron was an assistant the past 5 seasons at Little Chute after 17 years as a head coach at Kimberly. But there is a saying, once a head coach, always a head coach. Myron is now back in the big seat. John Myron has led Schwabena to a 9-2 record and is a contender in the Fox River Classic Conference. Despite the extra work that comes as being a head coach, he's enjoying it.
Being an assistant, there's a lot of things that you can let go, and as a head coach, there's so many things that come up that you know, that I really, quite frankly, forgot about. And so it's been nice. I'm enjoying it.
Myron led Kimberly to 2 state titles, and in his previous coaching stint at Little Chute, he assisted on 2 teams that made the state tournament in the last 3 seasons. He's hoping to bring that same success here to Schwabena.
The 2 goals really that I have for the program are, one is to try to get to a state tournament, and the second is to get a summer program and a youth program in place that whoever takes this over from me is kind of like a campsite. You know, it's in hopefully it's in better shape than when I got it. And it was in good shape when I got it. I just want to make it even better.
I hadn't really heard much about him until I asked some other coaches and friends about him, and I heard he's been a great coach. Really works the kids hard, which at times you might not think it's the greatest thing as a player, but it turns into wins, which is what really matters.
Schwabena has won a lot this season, and Monroe thinks there's more winning to come.
That's what really the whole season's all about. You're not trying to, I mean, obviously it's nice winning conference, but you're trying to get that state title, which I really think we have a shot of doing this year.
And the Jaguars have the coach who knows how to get it done.
Well, it's interesting to see how a new coach comes in and really changes things. And like you said, part of it is getting that backlog, be able to move it through a system.
Yeah, and John Byron had a lot of success, obviously, at Kimberly. He told me he didn't know a lot about Schwabena, but he's got a really good player in Kyle Monroe. This team really hasn't skipped a beat from last year. They're probably a little better, and that's with losing Bennett Cook, who was an all-conference performer. So Schwabena's looking pretty good with John Myron in charge.
Sometimes you lose that one piece that was such a focus, you get a little bit more of a team feel, and more guys have a chance to shine. Well, I think we're seeing that this year with Schwabena. All right, let's move on to the girls' game. Tough week for the top of the Fox 11. Top 11, Doug. Notre Dame Tritons going down this week. The Sheboygan North did the trick, played some solid defense, getting enough offense to beat Notre Dame.
Sheboygan North's really good, in case people didn't know. 2'6" kids, the Wolf kids. Their uncle, Joe Wolf, played at North Carolina, played for the Bucks even. And then they got a guard, T.J. Usadell, very good. They got something Notre Dame has trouble with, height, good height. Because Notre Dame wants to go up and down because they're not very big. Not a surprise Notre Dame loss. I think it's just Sheboygan North has got to be recognized as one of the best teams, I think, in the state in D1.
I think absolutely. Let's take a look here right now at the for the girls. Sheboygan North still undefeated, by the way, 9-0. As you mentioned, you know, if someone was going to knock off Notre Dame this year, that's where you were looking at it. Notre Dame gets their first loss of the year. De Pere still 4-1. Pulaski, Bayport, Preble.
It's still a tight league. Sheboygan North's going to have a hard time going perfect as you look how good this league is. The back end here, you got Southwest, who's really good with Natisha Heidemann.
Yeah, absolutely. Who could be one of those sleeper tournament teams. You know, I think that's
not a team you want to see in the postseason.
Exactly. You kind of, it's one of those you heard it here first. You're great. Watch Green Bay Southwest. We've been talking about them all year long. You know, they've had a little bit of an up and down start, but still very, very good.
Yep, dangerous when you have a great player like she is.
Moving down the Fox River a ways, Kimberly could be making a move up in the Fox 11 top 11. Great win over another state title contender this week. It was a double overtime win against Oak Creek. Both these teams top 5 in the state.
Yeah, these two teams could end up at the Rush Center. Kimberly, though, will probably have to play that Sheboygan North team we just talked about. But Kimberly, really good. Frankie Wertz and company, they know how to win. They're running the way with the FBA, so to speak. This is a great test for both teams, and it's nice to see our team win since Oak Creek's not in our area. We did not want them to win.
We didn't want to see them win, but
No.
Kimberly, as you mentioned, running away with it. You know, Oshkosh North, Appleton North, both still kind of hanging with them a little bit. Kimberly undefeated. Oshkosh and Appleton North both with just a couple of losses in conference in the season so far.
Yeah, I really think, no disrespect to those teams, it's a race for second. Kimberly's just too good.
Yeah, they really are. And as you see here, the rest of the FVA, as Nina, another of those teams that could surprise some folks.
Absolutely, good league.
Toward the end of that, so that's the FVA. Let's turn our view towards next week. Some teams have big weeks, some bigger than others. This week, West Pier Phantoms, kind of a tough road. You mentioned it earlier in the show. The Phantoms in good shape in the Bay, but they have a tough conference game against Seymour, and then before going out of conference, regional rival Ashwaubenon.
Yeah, you know, these are big games for two reasons. All these teams are really good.
Oh, yeah.
Seymour is obviously in the conference with West Pier, so that's big. Ashwaubenon, really good team, but the thing is they're all in Division II. They're all in the same bracket. So when you get to that seeding meeting later this year, if you need something to break the tie, well, we beat you. Sure. These are big games.
Yeah, no, that's always what you like to see. The head-to-head is something they really look at when you really start getting down to that, to the minutia. But you know, that could be an extra home game in the playoffs.
Yeah, you might have to play one extra really good team, and that could cost you. So it's gonna be a fun week.
So Denmark, then Seymour, then Ashwaubenon. So West Pier has quite a little road ahead of them. And then you see in the Bay, West Pier right now 4-0. Shawano has really been very, very good in conference so far.
Shawano upset Seymour at Seymour.
Yeah.
We know about Seymour and West Pier. Shawano's a team it's going to be interesting to watch them because they're the team that nobody expected to be sitting in that top spot.
Yeah, right now this conference ends up being a little bit top heavy as we see some of the other, they've all been kind of getting beat up by those first 2 or 3 teams. So it'll be interesting to see just kind of where that all shakes out. Time to take now a look back at the best of this week from our coverage vantage point.
That's right. Jude Wilbers has our top 5 high school basketball plays this week.
Well, after taking a winter break, it's time again for the top 5 plays of the week from the high school hardwood. We start where else, but at play number 5, we have a Green Bay East side, and that's Felicity Hughes. She gets the offensive rebound. She gets the putback. She gets the foul as the Red Devils get the win over Green Bay West. On to play number 4, Green Bay Southwest. Natisha Heidemann showing off the handle, uses the nasty little hesitation move to get to the rack for the 2 plus the foul. On to play number 3, it's De Pere's Brevin Pritzel. Loses his footing, but he uses the little spin move to shake 2 defenders, and he gets the 3-pointer to go against Ashwaubenon. Play number 2, it's Frankie Wertz of Kimberly. She is opportunistic. She gets the steal. She goes all the way back the other way for the lay-in as the Papermakers pick up a big double overtime win against state-ranked Oak Creek. And on to play number 1, Cody Schwartz of West Pier the steal. And we got liftoff from Cody Schwartz. Let's check that one out one more time. The big slam for Mr. Schwartz. And that is it for plays of the week. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Jude, for more coverage from this week, the week that was, and every day of the week. Fox11online.com. That's where you can always check out the high school sports scene. Go to our homepage, hover over sports, click on high school for highlights, scores, coverage all season long. And on there, you can find more on Doug's story this week on De Pere girls coach Dave Johnson, who's currently on a leave of absence from coaching after being fined for shoplifting in December. Johnson trying to work through some of his issues at this time.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough time for Dave and for the girls, but De Pere's still winning. This past week, I talked to Johnson, who continues to teach, and he said he is trying to get his life back in order. Johnson said, quote, "I am very embarrassed about my weight issue at this point. I hope I can draw the least amount of negative attention to the girls and program as I can on my road to recovery. The team, my staff, and family I told personally, which is one of the hardest things that I've ever done." Johnson is due in Brown County Court on March 12th.
And it's a tough road back for him. We'll see what happens as it goes forward.
Yep, he's hoping to get back actually January 26th, the week of, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate that. You can catch more of that, as we mentioned, on Fox.